project involves engaging young people aged 16 to 25 in museums across Northern Ireland using creative and digital media. So that's part of my job, and then I also have another part-time role in a department at Queen's as a graduate intern in web and online development. Yeah, so I'll start off with my part-time job with Queen's just because that came first. So that was in April 2019, and it was a bit of an interesting recruitment process. So I had actually applied for a different but similar role in Queen's as a communications intern in a totally different department. Went for that interview and I was unsuccessful, but I got contact afterwards from HR to say that there was a similar role in a different department that they thought that I would be suited for. So someone in that process had more experience really than me, and they were still impressed with my interview and thought that I would be better suited to a slightly different role in this department. So I had an interview then for that job in the Centre for Educational Development at Queen's, and I've been there ever since. So it was a 1-year internship, but it's been extended, so I've been able to pick up a bit more experience with them. But I suppose maybe what might be more interesting is my role with the museum project. So I actually started off there as a participant in September, just after the summer. When I graduated, I just applied quite randomly for one of their programs, and it was a really broad program that involved lots of different digital technologies and creative processes, so things like 3D printing, digital fabrication, illustration, a bit of event management, really a bit of everything, but then also combining this with working with creators, collections and museum staff to try and make the museum somewhere that appealed to young people. And I absolutely loved doing that. It was really a really different experience of the museum for me. I hadn't really, been a big museum goer before that, but being part of that project gave me a very different perspective, and it really enabled me to bring my own interests and skills. So in that programme, I decided I was going to write a blog about our experiences, and then that kind of led on to other opportunities for me with the project. So recently there, November of last year, I got to go to a social media takeover day at the National Lottery Heritage Fund's headquarters in London, and kind of progressing on to different volunteering opportunities, different kind of youth ambassador opportunities like that gave me the experience that got me this role. So it was a new role just created in February this year for a youth ambassador for the project, and sort of also to be a project assistant. So I applied for that and really used the experience that I had garnered as a participant and as a volunteer, and I got the job, and I've been in it now for about 6 months and absolutely love getting to sort of contribute back to that project that I got so much from as a participant as well. Asking questions is a good kind of way to show your interest, but also kind of use as an opportunity to suggest as well. So I think not going into a job with the mindset of people have expectations of me, like also bring your own interests and bring your own skills to a job. People are going to have a certain expectation, but you can show them that you have initiative and that you have your own ideas and your own interests, your expectations for that job, and what you can bring to it. No one knows that better than you do. So have that confidence in yourself and see it as more of a two-way street really, rather than you're just there to show up and do a job description. Looking back, I feel like my final year was when I was doing everything. If anything, I would have changed first and second year and tried to get more in there. I think the final year was almost the panic for me, or I was trying to soak up everything that I could. But if you're feeling like that at the minute, if you feel like you're just starting on your final year, I think it's about finding a balance, because you do want to get as much experience as you can, but at the same time you need to find the balance with your studies and with, you know, any other pressures that you have, like part-time work and things, and don't fall into the trap of taking on too much but not doing it well. Take, you know, advantage of all the opportunities that are open to you and to try everything, but I'd also kind of note that it's really useful if you can keep track of all the experience that you gain. Like, it's something I am preaching here, but I should really be better doing myself. But get a work document or get some sort of track of everything that you've been doing, and then when you're applying for jobs, think about kind of the language in the job description, or like what exactly they're highlighting as a priority, and then look at the experience you have and adapt it to that role. So like, for example, my job with Queen's with the internship, I definitely got that as a result of the experience I gained through this media programme, but it was me being able to see the connection between what they were asking for and what I had done, and like highlighting that in the interview. So I easily could have done that interview, not mentioned what I needed to mention and not have gotten it. So it's not enough just to do the experience and get it, but know how to highlight it and how to sell it afterwards. That's equally as important.